Hello. Hi, Deepak.
Hi, Nachiket.
Hello, everybody. Good to see you all again. We are here to bring you another part of our series of podcasts. Happy to join here with Deepak to discuss about the changes and updates that are coming in, especially in the banking and financial services space with the advent of AI.
Yeah, thank you, Nachiket, and good to be here again. Uh, Nice to doing this podcast in the banking, financial sector, and insurance. I am Deepak Padgaonkar, and I am the Executive Vice President of V3iT. Have been leading uh, enterprise solutions in the space of SAP, Oracle, Microsoft, and others, and have been doing it for over 25 years now. So, looking forward to this exciting discussion with Nachiket, who happens to be the brand ambassador for BFSI.
Thank you very much, Deepak. And yes, I'm Nachiket Deshpande here. I'm heading Access Solutions. I'm a founder and managing director for Access. We are predominantly fintech focused technology company, and we've been working on AI and AI solutions for more than 6 7 years now. Great to be on this podcast with Deepak. Today, we look forward to bring you uh, a strategic overview or a sort of a blueprint for enterprise-wide AI adoption in a BFSI sector specifically. And with our collaboration between Access and V3iT, we bring in to add more value to all of you who are looking forward to add AI layer and essential part of AI frameworks into your organizations.
Yeah, well said, Nachiket. There's a lot of things happening, especially when it is to do with AI in this sector, and have been involved with some of the analytics side of the enterprise in the BFSI. And I think it started off with fraud detection that has become very pertinent and a part of this whole ecosystem now. And there's a lot more to do, and we'll be excited to hear your thoughts about what is going on in the industry, and I'll share some of the thoughts that are going on here as well.
Certainly, I believe 2025 is in which we are at an inflection point where adoption of AI is happening at an enterprise level. 2024 was where uh, ChatGPT movement came in, and all of us got easy access to the earlier tech, which was sort of little distant from us, being having more of layers which were preventing common user from accessing uh, the advantages of compute, advantages of the machine learning, its processing, and the great use cases that could be built in. With a natural language layer being bought in, and another very important aspect of compute powers crossing different boundaries, 2024 is where all of us have started using the AI in a new form, in a much better and in our everyday lives. Now is the time in 25. Enterprises have started seriously looking into the application and use cases around AI, and with the changes that are happening, the changes are not in a linear form. Every week, I would say that the changes are extremely disruptive, week by week, and not month by month. So it's a very interesting space and time in which we live in today. And yes, that is going to make a very big and meaningful impact overall when we look at the enterprise ecosystem.
Yeah, there's significant investments that we see happening in the space, and we're seeing particularly infrastructure gearing up in this space. And most of the enterprise customers are today putting what I would define as a unified data fabric. Data analytics, data science forms the key fabric of artificial intelligence, and they're putting serious investments into that. In fact, what we see happening is data cataloging. We're seeing entity resolution. We're seeing all of these activities taking place in a very serious fashion. And there are some tools like this Databricks Unity, there is Collabra, there is Azure Purview, and there's a lot of tools coming on to the marketplace right now, which is building that reliable centralized data layer, which provides for that consistent analysis, which forms the prerequisite for the whole artificial intelligence to be put in as the next layer. And that's what is happening right now as we see in the enterprise solutions.
Yes, I agree. First was the question where the AI is relevant for the enterprises. Now, all of the enterprise users have come to the terms that it is imperative that they have to go ahead and adopt AI. And the first step to getting in that direction is to first create the data layer, data lakes, and a data factory going ahead further, where in the future data also that is getting generated in a different forms is ready for adoption of the AI. In earlier phase, where digital transformation was the key focus, the data that was getting generated was having a focus, but not from a reusability or analytics and further usage point of view. So as you mentioned correctly, Deepak, that is the major focus and phase that we have. And the main question is what's driving the urgency for AI transformation in financial services today? There are key things, disruptions that are coming in where this is coming as an urgent need, and every one of the active players in this space are looking at this new tech with a extreme serious intent.
What we are seeing is once the enterprises have put the data streaming and data infrastructure in place, they are using the streaming to actually use mechanics of ingestion, take the data capture and do real-time event processing. Now they're using tools such as Kafka, they're using Confluent, they're using Kinesis, Apache Flink, and there's variety and myriad of tools out there that is enabling that real-time ingestion, real-time streaming of data, fraud detection, and also liquidity tracking, because this is so imperative in today's world that we live in. Things can happen at a moment's notice, and enterprises do need to take care of all this data coming in real time, ingesting it, and actually converting those into actionable insights within moments. And that is what enterprises are doing to make sure that, for example, we are working in a food industry and they had to take some drastic actions because these are perishables, they have a very limited shelf life, and they had to immediately take some actions. So it is not just kind of a dream thing making true. AI is actually converting those insights into actions, and these actions are making material contributions to the enterprise. And that's significant today.
That's true. And from use case point of view, what we have seen is the trading industry has been the first ones to adopt the AI in a BFSI sector. Two Sigma, Renaissance Technologies, they have been some of the early adopters and have taken up the flagship positions also in that offerings with the use of AI. Major challenges that we have seen, adoption of AI currently include the legacy systems, data silos, and talent gaps. These are the most important challenges that are to be faced by the industry. And on top of it, there are ethical concerns also. So that becomes one of the most important aspect when in a boardroom they are looking forward to adopt the AI today. From choosing the platforms, correct, choosing the right partners, and having the future roadmap there is where they are struggling and they are trying to put out the right pieces together. And I definitely believe with our experience in Center of Excellence for AI being run at AXS, this is a strategic decision for any organization. because the changes that are happening and the way forward in the future is definitely with AI. And to be relevant and to be also having the business leadership positions, the strategic role is the most important role that needs to be taken up, especially with the AI adoption. Uh, and I will not hesitate to say that those who are not thinking that on the strategic level, they are going to miss big time on a business side too without proper steps being taken.
Now, that is so true. You bring up a good point of cybersecurity, which used to be one of our expertise, and privacy preserving storage is becoming very imperative in the space of cybersecurity, because not only have you to ingest and stream the data and understand what its meaning and convert those insights into actions, but also it is imperative to keep sensitive data usable. At the same time, you have to meet the requirements of keeping it private so that it's not proliferating across the internet and the web at large, and making it easily accessible. Accidents do happen. AI is actually, if I were to say it, accelerating the pace of this whole activity. So, more susceptible to having these accidents happening more often. And that's where we have to take care in the enterprise solutions, particularly, that data privacy, data governance is taken into very serious, not just from a regulatory compliance perspective, because regulations today are still being made in the space
Yeah.
of, so there are not too many regulations, but at the same time, and I'm sure in the financial sector it is much more imperative, or even in the insurance sector it's more imperative, but putting these tentacles into place that safeguard the privacy and safeguard the sensitivity of the data, that is becoming more and more a prevalent activity that has been taken by the enterprises very seriously, following the NIST frameworks, following ISO 27001. These are some of the things that they have to really get into action quite quickly, I must say.
Exactly. So privacy and data localization has been two major pillars. In our experience, we have seen that the world from global is becoming again moving towards a part where the localization has been one of the key aspects being taken. So the privacy laws, data governance laws, as well as data localization laws are coming in picture, and we expect soon that there are guidelines already being issued in European Union. There are the ones in being discussed in US, North America. Even in India, government of India has put up guidelines. They have not mandated them, but we are looking at in the near future those guidelines becoming more enforceable. At Access, we have already started taking steps in that direction, and we are adopting AI governance frameworks, and we are getting into the 42005 ISO suggestions framework implementations. And we are happy to announce that we are also one of the early agencies in India to start certifications on this regards. As well as start offering these services globally. So this is an area we believe which is going to be a very important to put up the right governance systems in place, understand and have a formulated strategy moving ahead further on while adoption of AI is happening. In India, the trajectory that we are seeing is right from a basic chatbots, which were uh, event driven. Things are happening and evolving very fast paced. Risk management, fraud detection, and personalized uh, customer service, personalized banking, personalized product generation are the common trends that are getting generated. Uh, we have already worked with quite a few of the customers where we have done such POCs. We are also working on a production cases where generative as well as predictive AI is going to getting used on a big time.
Now, that's so true. You talk about when you talk about this conservation of data and having these standards being met, it is also happening at a speed, agility, and scalability that is unprecedented. And with the advent of NVIDIA DGX, the GPU acceleration, the whole uh, concept of releases using this agile methodology or the other methodologies that exist in parallel, this is becoming very, very a significant norm. In fact, that is changing the paradigm of the whole deployment of the AI models, what I would term as a super speed. And what is happening is the model training is also speeding up. You have to support, and especially in the enterprise, you have to think about supporting a scalable AI deployment. And at that speed, you have to have what we term as containerization. So Kubernetes definitely has helped in the containerization of that. But there are some leading, what I would term as the new version management softwares that are taking advantage of this whole speed and accuracy of deployment. There's tools like AWS Inferentia, for example, that we have used that have scaled the Kubernetes and the acceleration of this deployment very efficiently. And there are tools in Azure as well as Google Cloud Platform that are being used. And Google pretty much was the inventor of Kubernetes. So they have kind of advanced that significantly with their Gemini product to help the speed of deployment. And earlier we used to only talk about version management, GitHub, and source code control. Now it is like taking all these AI models, deploying it at a speed and with accuracy without any failures or preventing any failures from happening, and that's amazing to see.
And nice that you have brought in this point. So from architecture point of view, that it has become imperative that the AI embedment within the architecture has now become sort of a norm. Now from that point of view, API first approaches, microservices led design, and services getting created is now sort of a given that you have to have that approach. Going further, as you gave some of the examples, the way in which this entire tech is progressing, explainable AI, ML in ops, as well as entire AI security frameworks coming in the cloud platforms, also as independent product offerings, are coming up very very quickly and very fast. Especially the interesting part is where there are multi-tenant, multi-cloud, hybrid architectures coming in place, where uh, instead of one platform, the customer's preference is to have a multi-platform approach. Such cases are quite interesting, where you cannot depend on solutions of only one platform. So those cases are where a lot of thought as well as a lot of efforts are presently going in. Especially what we have witnessed is still there is a preference, and the adoption is with a pinch of salt within the Indian ecosystem, for especially from point of view of government or PSU banks. So from they are the ones which are the market leaders, or have a large share of their infrastructure being on the private data centers and private clouds. So their adoption is happening in a different trajectory, and while they are looking forward to adopt. So SBI YONO is one of the very classic case, where a huge workforce or huge developers number are working to put in the AI layer up there. And it's a very unique case because it is having a largest user base and in the world today, and has a largest footprint in terms of a mobile banking app too. So it's a mammoth project happening there. At our end, we are looking forward to have such frameworks in architecture being embedded, where the solutions of the AI become agnostic. Some of the interesting works that have come in are the Gamma by the Google. So here you are able to customize the models and deploying it also on prem too. So such use cases are significantly becoming relevant. Training of models is another aspect that is being very seriously looked in. Apart from large language models, which are prevalent, including the GPTs of the OpenAI, Claude, as well as Anthropic's Claude stack, Google's Gemini's, and others including Mistral. Open source is another thing that has been looked in quite seriously. So there are a lot of developments and a lot of interesting work that is happening. We have seen the cases where fork of such LLMs uh, being adopted for a specific use case with a custom data integrations, and we have also worked on training of some of such models. So it's an interesting world that we are living in, where we have to also understand and adopt according to the use case and the requirements of the enterprise user. Now, with the progress in the market, there are enough options to available that are available to adopt the required use cases at the even suitable price point. Earlier, it was the notion that AI adoption is a very costly affair. Now, yeah, with the compute power becoming cheap, as well as different options being available in the LLMs and other aspect, uh, uh, even in open source and otherwise, the cost is crashing down. So acceptability has become another easier option for enterprise users.
Absolutely, I experienced this firsthand. In fact, there is an interesting concept that is coming along in at least the U.S. market. All the big banks, whether it's Chase or whether it's Wells Fargo or Bank of America, we have seen papers being published on contextual risk scoring, and this is a mechanism that is being used in the BFSI sector quite predominantly, and the way it is working, and I'll give you a first-hand experience that I had a few weeks back. I had to make a wire transfer to our subsidiary in Saudi Arabia, and there were some legal fees that had to be paid almost instantaneously, and this is basically setting up the company, right? So we have to make the payment almost with immediate effect, and our general manager from Saudi Arabia, he comes to me on a Friday morning saying that, hey, this has to be made urgently, and this is quite critical that we do. Friday is a holiday there, and we had to make this. So what happened was we had to make a payment to this particular agency. I made the payment to the agency, and immediately there was a thing that popped up on my mobile app saying that, hey, this account perhaps has changed, and this is probably the new entity that is now accepting those payments on this behalf. Is this something that you want to share? So it's not just identifying the changes that have been made, it's actually even personalizing my risk as a account holder, as a corporate account holder, that is enabling me to kind of make that. And then our general manager made this calls, immediately got to know that, hey, this is in fact happened. This is like the payment has to go tomorrow, and you have to make the payment today. And this is what the app, this incidentally was the Chase app that I used, that did that contextual risk scoring inherently. And this is something that I had at the back of my mind, that it's doing that. It's informing the consumer that, hey, this is what has changed. Do you want to make the change payment? And it has detected that. So I'm sure this is used in different contexts of not just personalization, but also in fraud, compliance breaches, and it's doing it at significant speed with more accuracy. And this is something that I experienced firsthand, real-time personalization. And I was amazed at, being the inquisitive mind that I have, I was kind of more inclined to reading this further. And apparently there is this concept of reinforcement learning and multi-armed bandits, as they call it, that is in place, that is used in all of the three clouds: AWS Personalize, or Google Vertex AI, or Azure experience platform, and there's a slew of those things that are out there that improve the customer experience with these tailored, what I would term as offering, for lack of a better term. And these are happening, and some things that you can experience in the apps that are living in the enterprise today. Um, Fascinating.
And I was very happy when I had a chance to interact with the regulators in India, the RBI. So they have launched a Mule Hunter .ai. So to prevent the fraudulent transactions happening through the mule accounts. So even the regulators are not behind in they have understood and importance of adoption of AI in security as well as fraud prevention, and it's being done. So that's another very important area which is being looked in from banking, payments, across to the fintechs, include insurance, where the and risk management are the two very major cases that are being looked in. Right from KYC to the transaction monitoring, policy claims being handled. This is one of the major areas of interest as well as focus for AI implementation. The other area that we have noticed is risk monitoring, where they are trying to understand, find the patterns. There are multiple banks as well as lenders, non-banking entities in India as well as globally. They have started recognizing the patterns using AI and started generating early warnings and early warning bells for the possible frauds. So they are now moving to the predictive aspect also quite regularly. Uh, Apart from this, we have noticed the AI applications in a generative form happening predominantly across multiple cases, right from uh, uh, lending card in India, one of the leading fintechs, to digital banks like Revolut, N26, using AI for personalized insights and spending analytics. Even there are multiple interfaces for conversational, interactive, personalized assistants that are being built in. We had also worked with a couple of banks to roll these out for quite some time, and they have been now been integrated quite deep with the ability to understand the data, do the recommendations, also provide a personalized help and customer service assistance. I would like to specifically give you some examples in the adoption of customer experience in this regards, where we believe there is going to be a significant shift happening over the years. Seen that customer support and customer experience, these are the two areas that had been sort of put on a back burner because of the cost aspects of it and also because of the legacy systems being there. With the advent of AI being deeply integrated, uh, customer 360 view being made available across the different touch points, the agentic AI coming in place where you are able to understand and respond to different channels with a unified and consistent messaging based on your own policies of organizations and accurate data is driving another sense of a revolution, I would say, definitely in customer experience. And we have done such pilots with telephony integrations, multiple front ends, including WhatsApp, chat, email interfaces being integrated to improve the customer experience and customer service, providing a tangible outcomes in terms of better customer feedbacks, lesser time to closure, also reducing significant cost of the service. So that's another interesting space to look into entirely across the globe, I believe.
No, that's so correct, and there's so many spaces that we could not even think of that are opening up, and you're rightly justified in saying that. Hey, these are things that we did not even, for example, even think last year in 2024. We were talking to customers about data governance, data cataloging, and there is a phenomenon that is coming up in the financial sector again, which is talking about explainable AI governance. And this is coming out of shapely values, this counterfactual models that have come into place in the last, I would say, 1 year or so. And there's adoption of what I would see as either in the contextual risk scoring. I talked about Neo4j, this FICO Falcon that is used by the credit bureaus and credit agencies here in the US. And in the explainable AI governance, IBM has made significant strides. IBM OpenScale is coming up with it in terms of a responsible AI dashboard. There's also things like Selden Alibi, which are coming out with similar such products. And it's basically making a case for supporting not just compliance in the future, but it's also increasing the stakeholder confidence in all these AI systems. And that's becoming a very significant um project in itself, I would term, that enterprises are embracing, because if AI can help with the governance aspect of it, I mean, what else you can ask for, right? Because at one stage a year back you were talking about data governance itself, and now you're talking about AI governance. And if you can have an explainable AI governance, the whole audit trail of it and the whole 9 yards of it, that is phenomenal. And there is also this decision automation that is taking place through all of this governance, and extending it further to machine learning and business rules, the whole workflow orchestration as well. And there is products like Pega Decision Hub. There is UiPath, who we are again partners with for the RPA, but UiPath is also doing the UiPath AI Center. There is also Camunda, and this is accelerating the whole process of explainable governance, audit trails, accelerating the approvals, improving the overall operational efficiency, and taking it to another level. And this is happening as we speak. In the last 2-3 months, that is the space that we have been talking to enterprises about, and it's absolutely crucial that we get this right.
Yes, you have hit the nail there, and we have been we are glad to see that uh, we have already been on the correct path there. We have launched a platform, Proniti AI, where we are training on the data sets of uh, regulators, helping the regulated entities to adopt regulation in much more efficiency. This is actually using explainable AI, creating required checklists or implementation roadmaps within the organization, monitoring how their adoption is happening, where their gaps are, helping them not only to identify gaps, also to close them. So, as we, and this is being very well received by the regulators as well as the industry, and soon we look forward to bring this entire offering also to US markets and other global markets too. Coming back to the aspect of regulations being used and the entire regulatory system adopting AI, that's another very interesting aspect that is emerging out, where they have recognized the importance and power of AI, and with the partnerships of the likes of Microsoft, Google, as well as Salesforce, we are seeing the adoption of the governance practices happening through the AI implementation effectively. Risk management is one of the prime areas that is being used and focused in this regards. and multiple use cases are there where we have seen not only for uh, live transaction monitoring, but also from point of view of possible point of failures being identified in IT infrastructure. Hewlett Packard's HP Enterprise being a major role in one of the large banks in the India. So, with one side regulatory requirements being managed, also on other side going one step ahead, they are moving in a direction where they can identify the fault lines which could appear and proactively give a solution to handle them. So that's a very interesting way in which the adoption and implementation is happening in a different use cases.
Now that's very interesting, and in fact, there's a lot of innovation that is also going on, and particularly the I side, the insurance side of the BFSI industries, wherein we are seeing now. Uh, and we this is again through personal experience that I have been interacting with last several years with Prudential Insurance. This smart advisory services that are coming into picture. This is not something that fiduciary was only human. Now this is something that is coming out to be as a very useful feature. Advisory services that is using generative AI. It's using augmented generation. It is using tools like GPT, uh, whether it's Chat GPT or on Azure, or there's also Claude. There is Cohere. There's a lot of tools that are enabling these, what I would term as conversational financial planning and guidance, and also with those fiduciary regulations in place. I think that is something that is very innovative, and something that I think BFSI industry is also seeing smarter tools being rolled out, and faster products that are aligned with customer needs, and faster to fruition. And these are some things that we are seeing useful, and I personally found it useful when I was getting kind of a knowledge of a trends on some things that did not even exist before. For example, the nuclear fusion industries and how they are being insured, and these are completely newer paradigms that did not exist a few years back. And these are some things that the BFSI industry is growing into, markets which did not exist before. And you're right. I mean, APIs is actually helping all this things in form of embedded financial APIs. There's AutoML that is generating all the customer behavior analytics and actually making changes on the fly as things happen. It's gone are those days when we had to go back to a developer, say that, hey, we need this kind of application developed, and these are things that are being done real time. There's tools like Plate Signal, there is Mambu, there is Stripe, Financial Connections. There's a lot of tools out there that deliver these financial services contextually and within the norms of the existing enterprise digital ecosystems. And that adaptability is really nice, and actually taking this to the further cause of extending these customer applications.
No, I agree. I believe that the next part is where we are going to have a major ask coming from regulatory and ethical aspect of adoption of AI. And we believe that this is the area which is now going to be of focus once the adoption has already started taking place at the enterprise and overall at the industry level. Both V3iT being very strategically placed where you are already entrenched in the entire ecosystem with multiple technology partners, and we at the AXS working on the research and niche product development areas we believe that there is a lot of synergy that we can bring into our customers, partners, and offer a unique way to leverage this, I would say, golden era of AI uh, to leapfrog into a next business horizon.
Absolutely, could not agree more. And I think this partnership been probably over a year now. It's been very strategic, and it's helping both our organizations, Access as well as V3iT, to kind of further the cause of AI and and take customers into what we term as proof of concept. So start small, scale fast, design for the whole governance, and create that agile architecture to uh, foster this growth of and the innovation roadmap for all the enterprises. And I am super excited to kind of further this whole development. And hopefully, this had valuable information for some of our listeners. And this is going to continue further as we gain more experience in this industry and take it to the next level.
Certainly, as we are nearing the end of this podcast, I definitely will believe that we will be back soon with what's in the future in this space of VFSI. Also, we would like to be happy to engage together with all the stakeholders who are listening to this podcast also. Please do feel free to reach out to us, share your feedback, as well as reach out to us to figure out how we can play a significant role in shaping up your strategic roadmap for implementation of AI in your enterprise.
Absolutely. And this is a world of collaboration. So if there's something that you find interesting that you wish to collaborate with us, do get in touch with us and we can help uh, taking your uh, ask to a solution roadmap.
Thank you, Deepak. Thanks a lot for joining, and thank you everybody for listening to us. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you. Bye bye.